Hey everybody, this is Matthew. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Feeling the Change Today. And today's video is going to be a little different. I have located myself in the woods because it's really hot. And I couldn't make it over to the beach because my knee hurts. So, yeah. And I'm hoping the bugs stay away. I really am. I do have bug spray on me, so hopefully that'll work out. Don't think there are going to be many more like in the woods videos like this, just because it's a lot of work. And my knee legitimately hurts today, and that's not okay. So my backpack is clearly too heavy, and I'm not going long-term backpacking anytime soon. I'm not. So we're gonna snack, we're gonna chat, and yeah. But we're also gonna do something constructive today. Today I have my handy dandy notebook, so I'm gonna open it up. We're gonna get a nice blank page. Nice blank page. See? Blank, blank. And we are gonna come up with 10 loops that are ruining our lives. My life, your life, everyone's life. I didn't pre-plan this. I didn't think about it that much purposely, because I want this to be an actual exercise where you actually do this and I actually do this and we do this together. So the goal here, no matter how long it takes, is to come up with 10 loops that are negatively affecting your life. They can be personal loops on the small end, or they could be macro loops on this, like the national end, or even the world end. Okay, but all right, if you write them down, you actually have to have some kind of plan to fix the loop and make it stop. Okay, so even if you write something down that's outrageously grand, you still have to come up with a plan, initiate that plan, and try and make the loop stop. Alright? Because loops are in all of our lives. And the primary purpose is to make you not think. Alright? You need to consume, obey, and not think. That is a loop. Alright? What you want to do instead is leave the loop. And you don't want to just manja on junk food. Alright? You don't want to just obey authority no matter how outrageous and stupid the authority is. You want to question authority. And you want to think. Alright? Think about what you actually want in life. So, let's start the loop here. Where do we want to start? So let's say you were still in school. Alright, I'm not in school anymore. I'm long past the school age. But let's start there. So when I was in school, let's say at a young age, you start in a loop. Okay? That loop is eat terrible sugary food that cranks you up. Alright? Go to school, crash. Alright? You're in a room with hundreds of strangers a day that you don't know, and you somehow have to get along with. Alright? Granted, socializing is somewhat important, and having friends makes life better. Still, you are bombarded with hundreds of strangers per day. Alright? And you're trying to recognize all their faces, you're trying to remember all their names, and it's just difficult. And then you have to like rank people, level of importance, where I don't really need to know your name. because we don't talk, for example. But that's the school loop. Okay, so let's write that first one down. So number one. All right. School loop. All right, what did we say is part of the loop? Let's break down the loop. Okay, so you have sugary breakfast cereal, sugary breakfast cereal, which leads to a spike and then crash of your energy. So let's just call it a quick high. All right, it's a sugar rush. All right, that's even better, sugar rush. So sugary breakfast cereal, which leads to a sugar rush, and then you crash, but you still have to pay attention. All right, so you're begrudgingly there listening to facts you don't care about, meeting hundreds of people a day. It is a bombarding, crazy scenario. And then you get to repeat that loop for like 18 years, pretty much. So, okay. So sugary breakfast cereal, sugar rush, crash. All right, then you have mindless facts you don't care about. Mindless facts. Let's see, you are bombarded with people. So, bombarded with people. You're constantly tested on the random facts that you don't care about. So, that is pressure. You're constantly measured and tested. So, you are measured and tested, which is pressure. Okay. And you're just still at school at this point. All right. Then you have a brief break. Let's call it lunch and recess. You have a pressure break. Break for food and mild exercise. Now, my lunches were terrible. I didn't know they were terrible, but they were. Because if you remember back in the day, the food pyramid had this huge thing of grain, and pretty much everything I ate was like bread and sugar. So I'd have like elf fudge cookies, plain white bread sandwich with cheese and like sandwich meat sliced turkey on it, and maybe an apple, maybe. Probably was potato chips pretty often, honestly, for what my mom was packing me for lunch back in the day. It was the craptacular crap of food, and then you had like high C as well, or sometimes I just had a thermos of Kool-Aid. So most of my diet consisted of bread, sugar, heavily processed meat, a fruit if I'm lucky. So I had raisins a lot. Whatever was super hyper convenient to shove in a lunchbox. Okay? Whatever could be made in the time span of 10 minutes or less. Alright? Which, I gotta tell you, I'm not feeling the love when I think back about it. So, really not. So, let's change food to terrible food. Terrible food. Then mild exercise. And then back to the classroom environment for like a second shock to your system. What is that shock like? So you're already worn out. You've had your second sugar rush of the day. Second sugar rush of the day. I think I had carrots occasionally too in my lunch, but overall, like 75% of the lunch was crap. So there's like a health food over here, 75% crap. So, okay, so you're on your second sugar rush. So second sugar rush. And then, let's see, what's next? So you're again bombarded by pressure, an expectation of perform. So let's see. So bombarded by more pressure to perform meaningless tasks. Then you get your pile of homework at the end of the day. So more meaningless tasks after school ends. So more, I'm just going to abbreviate meaningless. Just do it right out. Meaningless tasks. Okay, so you've made it home, all right? You're totally crashed out. You have all this stuff to do. There's zero time to relax. So you're doing your homework, all right? So you probably have 2 to 3 hours of homework. Okay, well, probably more. I had more than that. I had like 4 hours plus of homework a night, maybe 5. All right. So I'm doing homework, like 5 hours of homework, something crazy. All right. So I take a break between doing the homework, and I go watch some cartoons. I go watch like Dragon Ball Z, and maybe Inuyasha. I can't exactly remember what else was on there at the time, but so you have a break again, all right, before you go back to your meaningless tasks. So let's see, you have break and then tasks. Now after that, your parents expect you to do chores, if you can believe it, after all of that, or in between that you have to do the chores and then go back to the homework. So I'm just going to write down chores, and then so you're back to the homework, which I'll just put tasks again. And then you finally finish it, and you're so exhausted, you have a choice. You can either like go watch garbage TV with your family, or go to bed, pretty much. So I very often in the past went and watched the garbage TV. So I'm just going to write garbage TV. I very often didn't want to watch these shows, but they were on, and that was the TV that was going, and there wasn't really an option most of the time. All right. So, and then after that, you go to bed. So just put bed. All right. So that is a horrifically terrible loop. It is miserable. You're doing something nonstop. You're consuming garbage. You're performing meaningless tasks, and it just plain sucks. So, how do you break the loop? Okay. Well, there's a lot of easy fixes in here. things I actually did. Um, so I tried eating healthier. All right, things. So I'll just put like a dash here for myself. So I tried eating healthier. What I thought was healthy at the time still was pretty terrible. All right, still like egregiously terrible, honestly. But I mean, talking with my parents at the time, the food probably improved another 25%. So there's still 50% hardcore garbage crap, and then somewhat healthy foods on the other 50%, which that's still terrible, but it's better than it was. Okay? So I have pushed up against the loop, all right? So let's see. I was unfortunately obsessed with mindless facts, and I thought learning in school was fantastic at the time, and I was driven to excel and get straight A's. So I didn't break that part. So trying to eat healthier is up against the sugar rush. Let's see. How did I lower the pressure? It didn't really lower the pressure, honestly. It just kept building. Oh, I watched more TV by myself. So I got rid of the garbage TV I didn't want to watch and watched more TV by myself. So, watched more TV by myself. So that pushed against the loop as well. It didn't fully break the loop though, as you can imagine. I still was going to school, and I just became more and more depressed over time. So when I got older at a certain point, I discovered masturbating. All right, relax by masturbating. I'm gonna put that down, even though it long term not helpful. If anything, short term not helpful. If anything, it became like an addiction. All right. So this loop was so stressful and terrible. I was probably masturbating like every day, every other day, like my dick owed me money, like just crazy. So this was a negative, but it was an attempt to break the pressure loop and find some kind of relief. So I'm just gonna put down masturbating. Overall, that long term became a negative in my life, but it was always like a short term release button you could press, like click, 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 just to like get a break, all right, from the harshness of reality around me. Do anything fun, anything. So if I were to be like completely honest here, I did not fully break this loop. I crashed out. Okay. The only thing that literally broke the loop was me graduating from high school. Okay. That's not success. That's getting out of one loop and into another. So, hooray! I graduated high school and got out of this loop. Now, if you want to break the school loop down further, because it's pretty like ridiculously pervasive, the levels of loops that are inside of this, it's really messed up. So the school loop pretty much just goes into, like, if you go to college, the college loop. All right, so I'm going to put down the college loop. Number 2, the college loop. And honestly, my negative habits continued. The like constant masturbating continued because I was just completely unbelievably depressed after going through this whole school loop. All right, it was miserable. I never had any free time. Even after I finished my homework, there was some demand placed on me by my family. And if I didn't have a friend that lived down the street and came up to my house, I probably wouldn't have had friends pretty much. Just because of the endless demands on my time and because I didn't tell my own family no. All right? I just became more depressed, bending to their whims. All right? So, college loop. So college loop is pretty much the same as the school loop, except I have healthier food during the college loop. But it was still crap. It was still basically the exact same loop. And the only thing that got me out of it was, again, graduating. So that's not a win, all right? It's not. It's just the loop only ended because I graduated. I mean, yeah, there were parties, yeah, there was drinking, yeah, there were different events, and yeah, there was sex and whatnot. But there was so much negative, it just got worse. All right? It just got so much worse. The loop became more vicious, if you can imagine that. Just a loop of control in my life. All right, now we're on loop number 3. We're on the job loop. Okay, so the job loop only ends when you get a new job, or you make your own career, or you build your own business, that's how the job loop ends. Because I can tell you, I have had a number of different jobs over the years, and it is viciously brutal getting a job because everybody wants you to have experience and nobody wants to train you for their really crappy job that isn't really that difficult, but they make it out to be super difficult. And then you get there and the pay is ridiculously low because nobody advertises their pay, and then you wasted all this time. Crazy. Unbelievably crazy. All right. So the job loop is you go to another job, you just end up at another loop. Let's say you have a career. Career is just another word for a job, except to make more money. You're still in the loop. All right, you're spending the vast majority of your time working and being miserable. That seems like a terrible trade-off. All right. All right, and then you could own your own business. Okay. Own your own business. Well, if your business is successful enough, maybe you actually made it and you don't have to work quite as much anymore, and you have people to manage your business. Congratulations. You've successfully completed the job loop in a different way besides, dying or retiring when you're 65. All right? But it's fundamentally a loop for most people. Like I said, I was going to snack while I was doing this, so. Take this time to write your own stuff down while I'm eating. Okay. So I am still stuck in the job loop. All right. I'm at a low paying job making $64,000 a year, and I hate it. And I've actually demanded from my superiors to pay me more money, and they won't. Um, so I tried to get out of the job loop, and basically the only way out is, I don't know, for me, become YouTube famous, or win the lottery, uh, get into another high-paying career maybe. But I'm just sick of it. I don't want to work anymore. I don't make enough money to care. All right? And you probably don't either. All right? So how do you manage the job loop? If you are having a crazy amount of difficulty getting another job, maybe you have some hearing or disability issues like me that make it difficult to get another job. What do you do? Well, you lower your productivity. There you go. If you don't have a good out where you own your own business, make your own money, and don't care anymore, lower your productivity. Because your paycheck's going to be the same. Like if you're working at an office job and you have a crazy amount of work in front of you and your company refuses to hire more people to accommodate the workload, you just keep doing you and doing like the bare minimum. There's absolutely no reason to stress yourself out and put pressure on yourself anymore. I know the school loop and the college loop were supposed to push you into the job loop and make you a hyper-productive, non-thinking robot. But eventually you have a breakdown and you're like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You need to pay me more money or I'm working less, period. And shut your mouth. I don't care that you're my boss. Like, I really don't. So, there's that. So I literally did that. I did exactly that. I demanded more money, I yelled at my boss, and dramatically lowered my productivity. And the work just piles up because I was the most productive employee there. I was probably hammering a workload of 8+ cases a day sometimes, being hyperactive, hyper vigilant, stressing myself out, staying after work, not getting paid, being stuck on the phone with somebody, working some terrible IT help desk customer service crap job that only paid $50,000 to start and only pays $64,000 8 years later. That's bad. That is just that's insane. That is insane. All right. And the only reason I stay there is because I do have a lot of difficulty finding a job. I have a lot of health issues. I have one specific health issue, which is a huge problem, which I have tinnitus. And it is such a bummer that I can't just go work in an office anymore. I literally need a work-at-home job. Just the way my hearing is, it's just super insane. And I want it to stop. It needs to stop. And as far as I can tell, the only way to stop the tinnitus is reducing my stress. So, I'm going to put here number 4, tinnitus. I know for a fact that lowering my stress level decreases the tinnitus, for sure. So that is a way to get out of the loop. And I know this is 100% true because I was on vacation in Vermont in 2025 for 11 days. I kid you not, the tinnitus went away. All right, and even if it wasn't completely gone, I didn't notice it at all. Not at all. So now, what do I need to do that? All right, I need my own house. So I need a house. Can't deal with an apartment. I'm not dealing with a condo. I have visited my friends in condos and apartments. Every time I visited them, it is miserable. All right, you got the people above you making noise, the people on the side of you making noise. The walls are thin. It's a miserable experience. Now, if you have a house, if the house is like 5 feet away from the next person or 20 feet away, well, it probably still sucks. I have that right now where I live. And I also live next to a main route, which it's non-stop traffic and it's just nuts. And I don't need to go into more detail than that, really. Basically, imagine me living next to a highway. That's what it is. So, and it's okay when the windows are shut, but it's miserable during summer. So, it's the miserable time, folks. 4 months of misery of having the windows open. Just because we don't have AC. I'm gonna boil and burn if I don't have the windows open. I have to sleep with earplugs in. Or I could go back to sleeping in the basement, which I don't want to do that. I really don't. All because of the noise. And I was told yesterday the most insane crap. So apparently yesterday, when I was not home, there were helicopters patrolling the sky constantly for 8 hours above our house and above everywhere, like going back and forth, looking for MS-13 gang members. Like, what is this? What is this reality? Who do I need to strangle to make it stop? Like, what do I need to do? All right. So, tinnitus loop ends by lowering my stress level, getting my own house. Basically, moving away from the garbage. So, moving away. Now, there are so many loops that are fixed here by me moving away. Like an unbelievable number of them. All related to stress, all related to loud noise. And I guess I'm going to cheat a little bit and just write them down and just tell you about them. So, loop number 5, motorcycle gangs. All right. I can leave the motorcycle gang loop of going by my house every day if I move away. So, move away. Number 6. I can get rid of the loud, obnoxious, insane muffler-sized trucks. Like this big around. Alright? Alright, so insane, unmuffled pickup trucks. I'm just going to write down pickup trucks. Loud pickup trucks. Loud. That's fixed by, again, moving away. I'm just going to put an arrow down. At this point, I'm not going to rewrite it. Number 7. I no longer get to hear, I will no longer hear the Jake brake of dump trucks and tractor trailers. So, you know, the engine braking as they go down the hill. So, no more Jake brake of big trucks. I'm just going to write down dump truck, big truck, let's see. Dump truck, big truck, Jake brake. Also fixed by moving away. Number 8. Alright. So I already got motorcycles, loud pickup trucks, dump trucks. What else is there? We have morons in their hot rod cars, revving their engine like crazy. So we're gonna put down hot rod cars. Alright, that is also fixed by moving away. Number 9. What other vehicle is there that's horrific and awful? Oh, four-wheelers going up and down the street in front of my house. I'm going to put down four-wheelers. I'll put dirt bikes and four-wheelers together. Alright, so dirt bikes and four-wheelers. So dirt bikes and four-wheelers. Also fixed by moving away. And I'll just put side by side as well, because they have side by sides. So, side by side. They're all like the same category vehicle, pretty much. Okay, so we got obnoxious motorcycles, obnoxious cars, obnoxious trucks, obnoxious dump trucks, tractor trailers, dirt bikes, quads, side by sides. That'll be just one line, number 9. I feel like there's something else that goes by that's ridiculous and awful, but I feel like you get the idea. And it's tons of vehicles, tons of stress, tons of loud noises going away. But let's dig even deeper into just how terrible my neighborhood is and the loops I'm in, because this stuff happens daily. So that's one crazy stress loop for you. Okay. So number 10. Alright. Random gunshots in the middle of the night. So random gunshots. And I'm just going to put on there explosions. Alright, because chances are if there are gunshots, there are explosions as well. I'm going to do / explosions. That happened last night, and I had to shut my windows and just go to bed. Alright? Because somebody somewhere is lighting off fireworks at 11:30 at night. I don't know where they are. Their neighbors are not doing anything about it. Like, the standard is so low for behavior now. I feel like if you're not murdering somebody, I guess you're fine. So, because nobody does anything anymore. Nobody cares. So, alright, so we actually made it to 10. I cheated a little bit on the loops, but these are really crazy loops in my life by just breaking down the individual vehicles. Alright, you know what? We're just going to go to 11. 11 here. Endless lawn mowing and leaf blowing every day. My next door neighbor is mowing her lawn and leaf blowing at 8:45 at night, and it is dark outside. She has a flashlight on her head. She is a crazy person. Alright? So another reason I have to shut my windows. Sometimes it's even later than that. Sometimes it's literally 10:30 at night. So I can't go to bed. It's insane. Okay. So I'm going to put down endless lawnmower. Endless lawn mower. Also solved by moving away. Okay. Crazy number of things are solved by moving away. They could also be solved by me going and fighting my neighbors and, like, you know, making them stop. But I may end up in jail if I do that. So you may end up in jail too. Feel free to think about your stuff. Write it down. I'm chewing. Because I gotta tell you, you can't talk to these people. I have tried, my family has tried, and these people don't care. There's a turkey nearby. It was just a little startling to hear, but it's somewhere nearby. So I heard the gobble. But. So you have endless stress. You go from the school loop to the college loop to the job loop to, let's just call it stress-induced disability, to endless stress from your neighbors, and all the while you're in the good person loop. Alright? Probably the crappiest, most programmed, idiotic loop ever. So, if you went to Catholic school like I did, and they put the fear of God into you, and if you didn't do X, Y, Z, you'd burn in hell for all eternity, that really messes up a person. And then you keep praying to God, keep praying to God, keep praying to God, and your life doesn't get better. It doesn't. Okay? So let's do number 12. We have number 12, the false faith group. Let's call it false faith. False faith, false religion. How do you fix that loop? Well, you stop following the religion. It's that simple. So you fix the loop by stop following the religion. I mean, there are negatives to that. When you stop following the religion and you lose like the basis of how you think reality works and how it's supposed to work. Just kind of look and see if I can see this turkey. I'll say, oh, it's way over there. Okay. But so when you lose your religion and you lose your structure for reality, you go into a deep depression. So you have to fill it with something else. But there isn't really a hard set fill on what you fill it with. Yeah. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Me, I mostly filled it with TV. All right. TV and consumerism like everybody else. That's not a good thing. Well, that's what happened for a really long time. So you stop following religion, you break that loop, and then you think you're fixing it with TV and consumerism. But the problem is you just re-entered the loop, a different loop. It's not actually helping you. You're back into the school loop at the beginning. That's terrible. Sugar and TV. Sugar, TV, pornography. Miserable. Miserable. So, me personally, I've actually come back around, back to spirituality and God. But the problem is, you can easily tell the Bible's fake. Like when you read it, you can tell that, like in the first chapter of Genesis, that whoever wrote the Bible is talking to probably an alien, or let's say extra dimensional being. And then once you realize that, you start digging deeper, and then there are like multiple layers of reality. And that really makes you question everything you know. And makes it seem for a short period of time like these other problems don't matter for a short period of time. You kind of get into nihilism, like nothing matters. But then you go back and think, oh, well, I'm still alive. Shouldn't I be trying to make my life better still? And the answer is yes. Yes, you should. Even if you believe that there's a spirit world and an afterlife and there's multiple layers of reality outside of this, you're still alive here and now. So what are you doing to make it better? If the answer is nothing, well, that sucks. Alright? Try harder. Come up with a solution. Whatever your solution is, it doesn't matter. So I ultimately went back to a different faith. So went back to explore a different faith. And there are endless rabbit holes you can go down with that. My latest conclusion is that we live on a prison planet and that our emotional energy is harvested to fuel, let's just call them extra dimensional beings' lives. It's really messed up when you deep dive into that. And it provably exists. That's the crazy thing. And I really would like to explore it more. Because I have had encounters with ETs. I don't need to go into full detail on that. But I have had real life encounters with people that were not people as well. Okay? That just came up to me out of the blue and started talking to me about the realm of consciousness. Okay? Out of nowhere. Like, super nowhere. So let's see. I'm up to 12 loops. I've ended the school loop just because I'm never going back to school and doing anything again like that. I'm never going back to college again. So I ended the college loop. I'm stuck in the job loop. I'm stuck in the tinnitus loop. I'm stuck in the motorcycle, pickup truck, dump truck, hot rod car, dirt bike, random gunshots and explosion, endless lawnmower loop. I've broken out of the religion loop, and I'm really following it to see where this new idea takes me, and it goes to crazy places. But anyway, the vast majority of these loops are just stress loops. So that is going to be number 13 here. Stress loops. So I want you to imagine what my day is like during the summer, or even during the winter, honestly. I can't really go outside my house because of the constant, endless traffic noise. That's a daily thing. And now that it's summer, it's going to be really miserable. And the only way out is to purchase a home. But going back to the stress loop thing, the stress loop is such a broad category, but pretty much everything I outlined before is a stress loop. So for me, the vast majority of the stress loops are alleviated by moving away. Moving away. Maybe for you it's something else. Maybe you will actually have to fight. So I'm going to put down as a solution to stress loops, fight. Because there are many, 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 many scenarios that you can't fix by leaving the situation. It will follow you. All right? That goes back to the false religion loop, where things just follow me, like to an insane degree. All right? And I rebuke them and refute them, and I am my own sovereign, independent being, and my life is better from now on, full stop, period. All right? Your words have power. Use them with your authority. Like, I refuse to be stressed out anymore, and anyone that wants to stress me out, all right, will, really don't want to say this, but you have to think about this if you want to think about it from a spirit realm perspective. You could think about them being negatively affected in the spirit realm and that reflecting in their life. All right, but you can't make wishes to do that. All right, unless you've actually have provable ability where you've actually done it, like maybe you have telepathy or telekinesis or something to that effect, or remote viewing. You actually have to be on that level. Otherwise, you're just hoofing wishes up to God. And I used to pray to God a whole bunch. And I don't anymore, because the God of the Bible is actually not God. It's actually like a demon, for the most part. So, there's that. So you can't just make wishes. You actually have to act on things and do it. Trust me, I made enough wishes. They don't work out. Well, they didn't work out. So, yeah. That's actually a good one. I'm going to write that down. The wish loop. Number 14. The wish loop. Well, getting out of the wish loop's really easy. You stop wishing and you actually go do something about it. Alright? So, you get out of it by doing something about it. Alright. Let's keep going. Number 15. Family stress. Family stress. How did I fix the family stress problem? I stopped talking to members of my family that were stressing me out. And I've yelled at them as well to make them stop. That's a viable solution. So, yelling to make them stop. Yelling to make them stop, and you stop talking to them. Stop helping them because they're not helping you. So I'm actually going to write that all out. Stop helping them because they are not helping you. So much stress in my life is because of my family. And I can see the same stress in my brother. All right, because of my crappy family. And I really want to emphasize that you don't owe anybody a relationship. You don't. I don't care if they gave birth to you. I don't care if they're the semen donor. All right, whatever. Mother, father, sister, brother, grandfather, grandmother, uncle, aunt, doesn't matter. If they're a terrible piece of garbage person, stop associating with them. And I'm just going to write down health issues. Number 16, health issues. I am 100% convinced that my health issues can be alleviated by eating better food and lowering my stress. Period. So, eating better food, exercise, exercise, lower stress. And I know this to be true because I've done it. All right? I've eaten the better food, I've exercised and lowered my stress. But the problem is, I got healthier and better. The world around me got worse. Like, society as a whole got so much worse. It's crazy. Well, fixing society is a little bit too broad, but let's just tackle it anyway. Number 17. This is a loop, a crappy society. So we live in a crappy, corrupt, lawless, fake society. How do you even begin fixing that loop? It is so massive. Most of the loops here, in fact all of them, are very personal loops that you could definitely fix. But how do you fix the crap loop? Well, one person can't. You can't. You yourself, you can't fix it. So don't go get a gun and shoot people. All that's going to happen is you're going to be labeled some lone wolf. You're going to be crazily and mentally ill. And then the government's going to sweep your story under the rug and nobody's going to care anymore. All right? And yeah, that's what's going to happen. You actually have to have a very large group of people behind you in order to change society. Like, you literally have to have 1776, the Revolutionary War, and overthrow King George. And you have to do that at the state level and the federal level. Because the corruption of the system is so deep, it's insane. So you have to do it. Oh my God. Sometimes you have to do it at the town level too. Like the town level, the county level, the city level, the state level, the federal level. There are so many levels of corruption. It's like diabolical. And the only way to fix it is to delete these people. That's the truth. Alright? But you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it if you have a small community of like 100. So, let me tell you how to fix society. How to get out of this loop. Alright? Oh, let's add inflation onto here too. Money printing. That's part of the problem too, like the infinite greed. All you have to do is stop printing money. So that's not hard. Alright, so let's fix the loop. So step one of fixing the loop. Form a community of like-minded people and enforce the laws that you choose in the community. Imagine the Amish, or the Mennonites, or Muslim no-go zones. You have real-life examples of it happening today. Today. And chances are, the only reason you're not doing anything is because you're white and you have no identity. So which is by design. Your government has given you no identity by design to prevent you from forming a like-minded community. As of 2026, still the majority of the population in the United States. I'm sure that'll be over by like 2030, probably. As you know, all the 80 and 90-year-olds die off, and nobody's been having babies for the past 20 years, basically. So, yeah. And you can't have a society of 70, 80, and 90-year-olds running things. That's not a society. That's just death waiting to happen. Which is literally what we have. Isn't it crazy? We're literally run by geriatric boomers waiting to die and not giving a crap about what they do because they got theirs. They got theirs. So you fix society by forming a like-minded community with shared values. So I'll just write that down. So a like-minded community with shared values and culture. And chances are you have to be the same race. Just putting it out there, multiculturalism is part of the problem, and it does not work. Full stop, period. And if you go outside of the United States and go to any other country in the world, that's what the expectation is. You have one race, one culture, community together by that. So yeah. Now, what chewing? You have to also be prepared to fight and kill for your community. So, I guess my bug spray is less effective. I guess I might need to respray, but So you have to be willing to fight and die and kill for your community. So you have your shared values, community, and culture. You also have to kill anyone that wants to end your community. Obviously, there's still jail, so I'll just write down jail. There's still punishments other than death, so let's put down. I'm gonna write down hard labor. Because I gotta tell you, the chain gang is more effective than making people sit in a cell. It may really suck to sit in a cell for years on end, but making them work too, you know, that's extra punishment right there. I feel like number 17 of fixing society as a whole is very doable and has been done repeatedly in history, but you do have to actually stand by your values, but your morality needs to be flexible. There's no way to form a community like this and have strict religious moronic beliefs like thou shalt not kill, because the opposing group, let's just call it the opposing tribe, will just kill you. So you have to actually think for more than 30 seconds. It can't be bumper sticker bumper sticker level thought. But yeah, I don't know, kind of like bumper stickers. Mostly because they get you thinking. But it can't end there. That's the whole thing. It can't end there. You have to keep thinking about it and actually take action. Now, fixing society, you can't move. There's nowhere to move to. So when everybody left their crappy society, they all used to move to the United States. Now the United States is crappy. So the only thing moving you out of the United States is lower cost of living. Probably in Southeast Asia, if you can speak the language there, or I know a lot of people in America have been moving to Mexico. Wherever they can find it cheaper, as long as they can speak the language, because inflation's insane, totally insane. And fixing society also fixes inflation, because the money printing will stop, the greed and the corruption will stop, because if you are greedy and corrupt and you steal, well, we're probably going to hang you for treason. All right. Or maybe we go different method, old school, and just run them out of town, tar and feather them, and yeah, seize all their assets. You know, leave them to die in the street. Let the elements kill them. Middle of the winter. Because your politicians don't care about you. And you really need to understand that. It is ruling class that prints money, everybody else. Alright? So you have like the top 1% of the people in the world. You have their cronies, the other 9%. And then you have the other 90% of the people in the world that are viciously suffering from all these policies. Like, there was no reason to support Israel's invasion of Gaza. You supported a genocide if you went along with it. So if you're supportive of genocide, then what's your problem with getting rid of the government? So, then there was no reason to have the United States attack Iran based off of mysterious weapons of mass destruction. I feel like you've heard that before, because you have. Remember September 11th and the Iraq invasion, Afghanistan nonsense? Yep. So the government is just lying to us every day. I'm gonna write that down. Well, technically, I guess fixing society would fix the lie loop in that keeps society going. That might just be part of the whole fixing society thing. You fix the endless lie loop by fixing society. So I'll just draw an up arrow. 18, the endless lie loop. The endless lies. Up arrow, fix society. Let's see. I'll just put a comma. Fix society. So again, to fix society, you have to slowly grow your own community, and you cannot bow down to the government. You pay your taxes and grow your community, all right? Because even the Amish pay their taxes. Everybody leaves them alone. And their community continues to grow and flourish to this day. Alright, I feel like that might be enough. I left off on a big one. Fix society. I guess, number 18, endless lies, fixed by society. I suppose if somebody's endlessly lying to you in person, you can just cut them off. But this is more like on a society level. In order to fix the endless lies, you have to have consequences. You know what? Let me write that down. Let me just write consequences for the lies. That's an actual solution for lies on a macro level and a minor level. So, consequences for lies. Okay, so let's review. Went through a lot of loops. Some of the loops I'm just out of just because I aged out of them. School loop, aged out. College loop, graduated and aged out. Still in the job loop. I have lowered my productivity to try and get out of the job loop and start my own business, here on YouTube. And a bunch of times, you know what? I feel like the only solution here is probably going to go bigger and badder every day. But I can't do that with my living situation. Like, I just can't. I have this tiny little room where I have to close the door, and I have like 5 feet of space to film. It's miserable. So the job loop is also pretty much fixed by moving away. Where I could actually try other things. Things I haven't even thought of yet. I don't even know what. No idea. So, yep. Job loop. I haven't actually shown you this yet. So I have actually been writing. See? Motorcycles, pickup trucks, dump trucks, hot rods, dirt bikes, random gunshots, endless lawnmower, all fixed by moving away. False faith and false religion. I replaced it with coming back to faith, but in a different way. Um, Coming to the realization that the Bible is just a bunch of lies mostly. Um, it's a program on how to think in the same way the school loop is a program on how to think. Um, Stress loops, mostly fixed by, again, me moving away. Sometimes you have to fight to get out of your stress loop. Don't be afraid to punch somebody in the face, alright? You do whatever you need to do to get out of that crappy situation. I don't know what your situation is, but you get out of it. Get out of it. Wish loops. Stop wishing and do something about it. See, more writing. Family stress. Make your family stop. Do whatever you need to do. If they're yelling, you yell back. If they get physical, you get physical back. You make them stop. All right? And then stop talking to them. So, you don't owe anybody a relationship. All right, health issues. Health issues, honestly, for most people, eating better, food, exercise, and lower stress. This is me personally. But most people in general. Crappy, corrupt, lawless, fake society, money printing. You have to form your own community and your own society, enforce your own laws, and be ready to raise your fist and raise a gun to anybody who's going to stop you. And then kill them if need be, because you probably will need to kill them. That's just the harsh reality of the vast amount of human history where this has repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? I mean, making your own society doesn't necessarily fix the elite thing. There's still going to be more important people in the world. It's debatable on how you're going to completely fix corruption. You may end up in a scenario where maybe for 100 years you have a perfect society where everything's great and nothing's corrupt and everything's well managed and everybody's checking and balancing. But eventually you'll run into the hard times again like we are, and you'll have to raise a fist and raise a gun and delete people. So, and yes, endless lies. I guess you could just fix it with the truth as well. Truth and consequences for endless lies. So, let's see. What was the beginning of this? It was the negatives were obey, consume, and don't think. So, obey, consume, and don't think. Which, that's what most of the loops are. Pretty much all of them. Pretty much every loop you can think of follow these three principles. Obey, consume, don't think. And you fix it by not disobeying. So you disobey. You stop consuming. And you think. That's number 19. And I think I've had enough. I'm on two whole pages here. Not sure how long the video's gone at this point, but I want you to do the same thing I just did. I want you to identify terrible toxic loops in your life and get out of them. All right? I am trying desperately to find a home that is maybe $300,000, so I don't have to slave away forevermore at some job that I hate with money hanging over my head, because that's been my whole life and I hate it. Hate it. So So I come here to relax, to depressurize, to actually think. It helps. Well, it's like taking an ibuprofen or, you know, it helps, but only a little bit. I still have to fix the actual problem. I still actually have to do something. I can't just look anymore. I have to think outside of the box. There's no looking on Zillow that's going to help me. The prices have gone insane because inflation has gone insane. The inflation isn't going to stop, and I can't lie to myself and think things are going to get better. They're going to build more houses. That's not happening. All right? When they build a new house, that house is $500,000, $600,000. That doesn't help me. It is stark, raving lunacy that the government does nothing, and it's on purpose. It's on purpose they're doing nothing because they know the inflation's happening. They don't want wages to rise. Because if wages rise, the pressure will stop on the American people. They'll be able to think again, and then they may seriously question and delete their government. I just got water splashed on me. Oh well. Because what did we find out at the end? What did we find out? Back to the lie loop, alright? On the obey, consume, don't think loop, which is mandated by the government. So, you have overthrow the government. That's the only solution. You can take the direct approach and do it literally, violently, militarily, or you can take the long game of forming your own community and growing your community while the current government erodes away. Alright? Both end up in the same scenario. You're going to be fighting the government at some point. Just the truth. I kind of lost my last point on number 20. What was it? Was it inflation? $600,000 homes. Like a house used to be $200,000 for a nice home. Now you get a dump for $300,000 if you're lucky, which is crazy. So inflation is part of the obey, consume, don't think. You're under so much pressure every day in a loop of constantly chasing money that you never really question what the cause of the problem is, which is the government, which is inflation, which is printing money on purpose to pay for everything under the sun, while, let's say, 50% of it just goes in somebody's pocket under pure corruption. So, yeah. But that's a long-term loop. Big, challenging loop. Did you even join a community yet? Probably not. I didn't join a community yet. So, I am still on my personal loop of moving away. I have recently learned that I am so poor, making $64,000 a year, that my brother was telling me I should apply for Habitat for Humanity because they'll build you a house apparently if you make less than $68,000 a year. That's depressing, realizing how poor I am. Really depressing. And I'm probably going to look into that. Now, everything I said, take it with a grain of salt, or a grain of sand, or whatever grain you want. All right, take it with a peanut or an M&M. So I'm gonna do that right now. Peanut and M&M. I'm just some guy on YouTube talking about the loops in my life, and some macro loops as well, and all the terrible things that go on. And the one thing I wanted you to take away from this is there is a way out. And I'll say that again. There is a way out. You have the choice to end the loop. There is a way out. Stop taking crap. All right? Stop taking whatever negative thing is going on in your life. Find a way out. Do anything you can. Anything. Because I can tell you unequivocally, wishing does nothing. Praying does nothing. You have a choice in this life. You can fight, be a predator, or you can keep being prey and a victim. So you can run, like I'm gonna try and run. All right, there is a third option. I'm gonna see if I can go run somewhere for a while, but I already know in advance what my plan is. Wherever I run to, I am gonna start building relationships and a community. I'm gonna have a massive garden, a greenhouse. All right, I'm gonna speak to my neighbors and get on good terms. I am going to make my community better, because I don't want to be in any of these loops anymore. Not a single one. All right, they all suck. So point 20. End the negative loops. And I'm just going to put underneath here, by any means necessary. Because that's how it is, and that's just the truth. And that's all. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this little talk. I feel like it was actually very productive. It was very productive for me to think about the many, 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 many negative things in my life. And hopefully you have the same level of productivity. I really recommend writing it down on a physical notebook, because typing it out just doesn't have the same impact. It just doesn't. Because you actually want to write it out and think about it, because writing takes longer than typing. And there's no point in being productive on your healing, or like, that doesn't make sense. Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna put on my shoes. We'll consider this the outro. And I'll turn the camera off. Like, share, and subscribe, because you know it's YouTube, and trying to get famous here, people. Because I don't want to work anymore. I don't. And one more disclaimer. Again, I am just a guy on YouTube, and you need to come up with your own thoughts and make your own decisions. Don't you dare try and say that I told you to do XYZ and blame it on me when you get arrested. Don't you dare. So that is you being an irresponsible child and a perpetual victim. Like that bad man on YouTube, he told me to do this, he told me to do this. No, I didn't. You made the decision, you did it, that's it. Just like I'm making decisions, and I'm just gonna light money on fire if I need to, and rent somewhere if I can't afford a home. Because I am not staying in these situations any longer. Got it? Treat yourself better. Be better. Don't put up with crap. This has been Matthew at Feeling the Change today. See you later.